My name is Killionaire Studios, and I will be your tutor today on the subject of Blender hair particle systems. In this tutorial, I'll go over how to make a beard on a Roblox character, how to groom it, how to make the materials for it, and how to light a scene around it. Let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is have Roblox Studio open. The next thing will be inserting a base beard that you want to replicate or at least get the outline of. For this, I'm using the Ship Architect's full black stubble right here. Now, you want to make sure you do not export the accessory itself because most of the time it will fail. So what you want to do is go to your handle and export that. Next, what you want to do is go over to wherever you are exporting it, which will be in here. And then you will want to load up Blender. I am using Blender 3.6, so I'll go there. Once Blender is loaded, you'll want to load up your preferred Roblox rig of choice. I am using Ultimate Rig by MattRBX. I have modified this, so it will not be the same as yours. Next thing you want to do is import your beard, which can be found in the file and import section, and then you want to import your beard. Next thing you want to do is make sure it's selected, zoom out. If it's not at center and it's not where it's supposed to be, go to Object, set Origin, Geometry to Origin. Now what I'm going to do is put the beard on its face, which is simple. I'm just going to rotate it, bring it up, single out the two, bring Y forward, make sure it does clip, and then bring that all the way down. You see, I still have some problems, so I'm going to do that, and it is done. The next thing you want to do is go to Object Properties, scroll all the way down to the bottom, Viewport Display, and turn Display as Textured to Display as Wire. This will make it transparent so we can add stuff and follow the outline. An important thing I would say to have before we get to the beard is to have a flow direction map of where the beard usually flows. Like right here, this is practically how the beard flows. Now what we do is add a particle system and change it to hair. We get this ball of hair. What you want to do is firstly figure out the length of hair that you want your beard. For this, I will have around, this will be good. Next, you want to turn your number to 0. You want to go to Particle, Edit, go to Options, ensure your mirror on the X-axis is there. Next, what you want to do is go to your side angle and start drawing. But you need to go to that, of course. So now you're going to draw just using the outline of the beard. And then you're just going to fill in everything. The mustache will be a separate particle system in order to ensure it to be clean and not weird looking. And also so if we do need another material, we can add it. So now that we're getting the general shape, we're going to fill it in to make sure when we do children, it is not patchy. And I'll see you when I've done the rest of the outline. All right, now that you have created the base shape of it, what you do is now you want to groom it down. Just groom everything down that you have on the character so far. And now once that is done, look at your flowchart, which is this, and then use that as an example. So your sideburns are going to more closely go down and then sweep. Go more like that. You want to ensure that this still goes down. Go down. You also want to add some variance, so don't be afraid to roughen it up. Also make sure to puff out your hair, because if you don't, it'll be super slick on the skin and not look that good. Next thing you want to do is get this part good. This part is going to go in really close and then go down. And then you're just going to keep grooming it, following patterns, other things like that. As you can see, I don't have a lot of hair here. So I'm gonna add a bit of hair, brush it down, and go to my side view, and then change that up. So now, as you can see, I have a very basic looking beard. And now I'm gonna add some length to it. So right now, the middle is barren. What I'm gonna go to do is gonna go over to the length and just add some length to it. Now the middle of your beard is actually usually the longest. So I'm gonna make that pretty long. And then if you want to, you can add a fade into it. So I'm gonna make that small. Make that a bit longer. Something like that. And then to clean it up, I'm gonna cut it. That. And now you get back to grooming. Okay, so now that you got your base look down, I'm gonna hide the fake beard, and then I'm also gonna cut some of these because they seem a little bit too much. Not all those, maybe side there, side there, yeah. Also, don't be afraid to add some patchiness. Not all beards are super thick and perfect, so it's good to add some variance in there. So now that we have something like this, you want to go down into your particle systems, go to children, and add simple. It's going to look like a mess right now, but what you want to do is scroll down where you see radius and just bring that down. You don't want to bring it down too much, but to a point where it spreads around the face. About right there. I'm gonna put my children around 10, and you can change your length and everything. I'm gonna keep it around the same, but I'm gonna fix this. Now it's a little bit better. And all right. So now that you have this, what you want to do is go to your clumping and clump. So clumping just basically means it's going to clump to its original parent. So I like adding a little bit of that and actually minusing the shape. Also adding a bit of twist. Twist just makes a little bit more variance, as you can see by the hair. And then about that. Then when you get a roughness, this is where you get that sporadicness from beards and stuff. So what I'll do is firstly change the size of this to be something a bit more reasonable at the scale that I'm at. I'm going to go down here. So as you can see, there. See, the more I do random, the more random it gets. So I'm going to go bit amount, bring up the threshold a little bit. Endpoints just change how sporadic the ends are, and uniformity makes them a little bit more uniform. So now I have that. I'm going to go to your kink, go to curl. So now your curl changes depending. So I have it like this. If I turn it off, it makes it straight. But if I change up the frequency to like 200, it can change it a lot. Let's do 2000, 5000. Forgot change. So with curl, you want to change your strand steps. I usually keep that at a render of 5. As you can see, it's not that good looking. So I want to go around 200 actually. And this is what your hair will actually look like. So if you don't want it to, if like say I like it around this, I'll keep it around that then. But as you can see, it makes my beard hair, which is usually straight, I start to curl it, add some texture to it. Actually, pretty good texture. You also change how flat it'll be, the shape of it. This is basically just a seed, and how it clumps. Clumping doesn't really change a lot at this moment, or in this situation. So now that that is done, I'm going to close these, and I'm going to go on to the mustache. So I'm going to open this again, come over here, do the same process as I did with the beard, but it's going to be a little bit different with the grooming. So I'll get back to you when I'm done with making the basic hair. All right, now that we have our basic groom, we're actually going to go into the full grooming process. So I'm going to have to separate these. And come on. There we go. And now you just want to separate. So what you want to do is where the mustache starts, you want to bring that out. Good. You want to have it largest at around this point and then start sloping down again. Then you want to get your shape done. And then you want to clean up parts. So I don't want this hair. I don't want that. I don't want this nonsense up here. I don't want that short hair, this short hair. Like this. Now what you want to do is shift it down. Now what I'll do is make this spread out. Also get rid of these. Shift it. Now what you're going to do is go back here and change this. This applies the same to any type of mustache that you're trying to do. If you're trying to make a more long bar handle one, you just make the hair longer and then have to comb it in that usual shape. But for my use case, I am just doing a normal mustache. Now I'm going to hide that. And I'm going to go to children, simple, make that 3, and then change my radius. So now that my radius is done, I'm noticing that it's a bit too random. So what I'll do is adjust some of these settings. So noticing that this hair isn't actually long enough, so I'm going to lengthen that. And then I'm going to re-groom it. Separate these two. And then go back to grooming real quick. Now I'm fine. I am going to adjust my clump and everything. And for this, I actually don't want a lot of clump, just a little bit, but I actually want a little bit more twist. Roughness, same principle. I'm just going to change the shapes a little bit. Let's go to 0.12. Uniform, don't need that much. Endpoint. About that much. And then add a bit of random. Noticing that this hair up here just looks wrong. So I'm going to adjust that. And then boom. Also, just pushing that up. Looks so much better. And then if you want, you can add a curl also to your beard. But for my use case, I do not want it. Because it will just look bad. So this is what the final result would be. This is a more strangly type of beard, not a wispy, silky type. And now we're going to get onto materials, which I will do right now. So the first thing you want to do when you get into materials is obviously go into your rendered mode. And first off, you see the hair looks horrible. It looks thick and horrible. What you want to do firstly is go over to your render properties, go to curves, ensure that this is set to 3D curves, put to strand, and have your additional subdivision set to 3. After that, what you want to do is scroll all the way down so you see hair shape and put this to whatever is matching your scene. My scene is set into Imperial and he is set to 6 feet. So it's accurate for me to put it at 0.25. And for the beard, same setting, so 0.25. As you can see, this actually thins it out a lot. But you can also see where some places need some overall things. So I'm going to adjust this to be around 15 instead and add some additional hair. Okay, now that I fixed the main problem of that little patchiness, what you want to do is go up to your head and create 3 materials: beard, mustache, and peach fuzz. Peach fuzz is a bit more unknown, but it's what the tiny little hairs on our face that reflects light and other things like that. So when we go to beard, sorry about that, you want to get your principal hair BSDF and plug that in. Then what you want to go is go up here and choose that as your material. So now that this is your beard material, you're obviously already going to see a big improvement. I'm going to turn up the radial roughness and do a few things. Firstly, I'm going to expand my material window, and this is what I'll do. Firstly, get a curves info modifier and 2 color ramps and a mix shader and a transparent BSDF. So now I'm going to plug in intercept to both of these. But on the top one, I'm going to plug this and go to B spline. So what I'm doing right here is replicating the thinness and translucency of any type of hair on your face when it first begins, because it's not automatically like that. So I'm going to add very thin. As you can see, that start is like that, but I need it closer to the skin to be closer to that. And now I'm going to plug this into my mix shader. And now look. Now as you can see, it fades in and out, which from a distance looks like it's getting smaller and not as bad. And now for this second one, what we were doing, this one will be for the actual color. And what we will do first is create the color that you want. which will be this. So I don't want a black beard. I'd rather have like a brown beard. So I'm going to go here and create a dark brown. And then I'm going to have a super white. And then I'm actually going to have black strands. So now what you can see from here is that this white controls little white strands, and then here controls a little change in them, and then this is obviously your color. And I'm going to change this a little bit, just make that the darker color. So now when you have this, what you'll want to do is so now this part is going to be your transition from darker to lighter colors, which normally beards do. So what I'm going to do is have my dark color and then my light color. So this I'm going to have slightly darker and this slightly higher with less saturation. Be about this. And I'm going to also move that and move that. Next, what you want to do is get a mix color, put that to add, put that to 100, and plug in these two. And then plug that into there. And now you got a pretty good texture, especially from afar. It looks pretty good. And now, basically same process for the mustache. For me, I'm just going to copy the settings I have right here, go over to my mustache, and paste it. And I'm noticing that the mustache is a bit loose. So what I'll do is just make that 5. As you can see, it looks a lot better. So now, same process as before. I'm just going to turn off the beard so I can see better. And then ensure that this is set to the mustache. You may get an error or two. It doesn't matter that much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly do that. And that's good. I'm going to see the colors in this and notice there isn't actually as many whites as I'd want. So I'm going to push there. Maybe like that. Also not really wanting complete white. So I'll do that. Now when you click onto here, boom. Now I'm going to add the beard. As you can see, pretty realistic hair on a Roblox character. There's one more thing I talked about earlier, peach fuzz. Peach fuzz is that little hair all over our body. We found everywhere. That just is there for, I have no clue. Don't ask me for it. But we'll be replicating it. So, firstly, to get more performance, go to your simplify in your render settings and turn your child particles to 0. This will allow you to see your base hair, but allow you to do much more. Next, what I'm going to do is put that render, the render material to peach fuzz. And then what I'm going to do is copy the same settings as before, put it into here. But I'm going to do one more thing where I add another mix shader and another transparent node. The one other thing will be is you do not need any other materials. So you just need your transmission. Next, you want to turn direct coloring to melanin concentration and turn both of those down to 0. So this will be completely white. Next, what you want to do is get your length. And this is going to be pretty short. So I'd say about right there. Turn that to 0. Next, go to particle edit and add it. You could also just do very basic, just have it everywhere. But I don't like doing that because I can't get the same detail as I can when doing this. So what I'll do, let's get it all over because I'm not making hair. He's going to be a bald boy. And then I'm just going to fill this up. So now that I have a general look at this, what I'm going to do is groom it. So now, especially with peach fuzz, it is not that uniform. So what I like to do is just change it, make it a little wonky, a little sauce there. Oh, they're up now. Oh, they're dancing. That. Oh, not a lot here. Gonna add some there. And about that. Now what you want to do is go down to your children again and add some children. But first, ensure that your children particles are on. Now, you're going to again lower it to a point. So I want this to be a bit more everywhere. So about like that. But now you notice it's super long. That looks bad. And you are right. It does look bad. So what you're going to do is use the length modifier. So now, about right here. Now I'm going to add some clumping. Actually going to turn off my beard and mustache, get some more performance. 0.02, 0.05, and 0.018. Gonna add some randomness to it. Change up the endpoints. And make this super small. So now when we view it, little baby hair. And if you want it to be more visible, you just adjust this, with this being absolute 0. I'm going to adjust it to be about right here. And now to get a better look, I'm going to spawn in my camera. Next, what I'll do is add some lighting. This will be a basic 3-point light setup. So now that we have this, I want to more focus on the direct materials, what to change, what not to. So I think the hair on the skin right here, the peach fuzz, can be a little bit more visible, but not that much. About that much. That looks good. And now we can focus on the beard. And see what needs to be worked on. Overall looks pretty good. Nothing I should really change in this tutorial. So, onto the bigger picture. Now, what you want to do is add any post-production things, anything you want to do. For this, I'm just going to add my basic camera stuff. So, just adding in some lens stir, some bokeh. I'm going to go to photographer. At 0.95, add some lens softness, fringing, vignetting, and some film grain for it. And then I'm going to go down here and make my head my main thing. So if you need to adjust any of your lighting, do that right now. I do. So I'm actually going to adjust that, make that 3. So about right here, it looks pretty good. So the last thing you want to do is get that render started. And that's just as simple as going over to your rendering tab, pressing render. I'll see you when it's done rendering. All right, the render's done now. I did do some slight changes, like changing up the amount of hair the children produce, so it's a little bit less thick, and also changed up the grooming. But overall, it looks pretty good. You can see the little peach fuzz. Depth of field's too much where you can't really see it around the head, but it creates a really good looking hair particle system. It's really all it is for today's tutorial, but remember that there's no wrong or right answer when grooming hair, making hair, because everyone's different. You can't base it off of a single picture or anything. Everyone's hair has different textures, different kinks, different everything. So don't be afraid to try to do stuff with hair in Blender or anything. Don't forget to never give up and keep going even when it doesn't look good. That's all for today's tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in another one.